When we use recycled gold, it's very labor intensive. The person who's making it has to refine that gold themselves. It's not like taking a nice cube, letting it melt, and then freezing it again. That's not how it works.
Welcome to Jewels of the Trade, the channel for spreading accurate information on jewelry and gemstones. I'm here with Rebecca, owner of the Rutile, and we're going to be discussing custom jewelry. Rebecca, welcome back to the channel.
Thank you so much, Jordan. I love being a part of Jewels of the Trade.
The first question that customers always have about custom jewelry: is it more expensive to buy custom than to buy a ready-made piece?
Most of the time, no. You can actually find exactly what you want about the same price as something out of the case. We have to consider that if something's been in a jeweler's case for a few years, it's probably going to be less expensive because 1, they probably want to get rid of it. 2, the price of gold might be different. 3, it's something that's mass produced. But all in all, if I have someone coming to me, let's say for a tourmaline engagement ring or sapphire, most of the time, I'm very competitive when it comes to creating exactly what they want. Some people get really nervous when they think about price point when it comes to custom jewelry. But if you're working with an independent retailer, they're usually able to produce something that's right about the same price as not exactly what they want in the case.
I think it's important to note that the means by which we create custom jewelry nowadays is different than how it was 50 and even 40, 30, and 20 years ago. With 3D printing and 3D modeling and casting, it's actually not as lengthy of a process as it once was when everything was fabricated by hand.
Entirely true. Anymore, it takes me maybe 24 to 48 hours to get a CAD design. That's a computer-aided design. I know it's a little redundant saying CAD design, but when we say, 24 to 48 hours, that's grabbing all of your ideas and making it into something on the computer where you can look at it and say, I don't really like how that stone's there, and let's make the band just a little bit thicker. That's my favorite thing about CAD, is it doesn't take very long to make as long as you're working with a quality vendor. Once we make the CAD, the process of actually pouring and casting the ring or necklace or earrings or whatever it is usually only takes a couple days. Now, you have to remember that some casting studios are very special. They do specialty castings. For instance, a lot of places won't recycle gold. Let's say your wonderful husband passed away, you want to create a memorial ring. Most casting companies won't do it. There's lots of problems with porosity if they don't know how to do it correctly. Now, I have a fantastic caster that will recycle gold. But instead of taking 2 to 3, 4 days for a ring to be made, it'll take 3 to 4 weeks because when we make a casting, let's say a bunch of rings, there's a thing called a spruce. They melt down the gold and then they pour it into this mold, and there's between 7 and 20 rings on this tree. And there's all these different rings on it. So they're able to produce a bunch of rings at the exact same time. Now, if we're doing a specialty kind of casting, like the one I just mentioned, the memorial ring, those can only be done one at a time because you're using your gold. So just remember, if you're doing something extremely custom, it might take a little longer. Also, gold is usually a pretty quick turnaround. Platinum is much harder to fabricate from the CAD design to pouring. So most casting studios only cast platinum every 3 to 4 days to once a week. It depends on what their demand is. You have to have a little bit of flexibility and understand that when you're working with a jeweler, they should be upfront with you about turnaround time. But when you're doing something a little bit more specialty, be sure to give them some grace because everyone's on the same team. We want nothing more than to get that special piece to you as fast as we can.
I think this brings up an interesting point. A lot of people have the maybe misconception that if they have their own gold and they bring it in, that it's not going to cost as much to do custom jewelry because I think in the mind of the customer, the gold or the most expensive part is already paid for. But we know that that's not exactly true. What are some of the pros and cons of using your own gold as a customer in a custom piece of jewelry?
You're exactly right. If we're not really paying for gold when we are using your recycled gold to make a custom piece. When we use recycled gold, like your specific recycled gold, it's very labor intensive. The person who's making it has to refine that gold themselves. It's not like taking an ice cube, letting it melt, and then freezing it again. That's not how it works. There's a very long process where they help draw out the impurities in your metal. Because if they don't, you get all kinds of holes in your casting. It's called porosity. And so when you're looking to save a little money by using your gold, that's not actually what's going to happen. If you want to use your gold to save some money on custom jewelry, what I highly suggest is that you use it as trade-in value. Don't hate me. The word is scrap value. I know that a lot of people make some shudder. Like, it's my ring. That's scrap. That's the term.
It's what it's called.
It's what it's called. So if they call it scrap, please don't get your feelings hurt, but it is able to offset a little bit of the cost. So when you're using your old gold, which one, it's going to be really hard to find a jeweler that will do it. I will do it. But just letting you know, just like Jordan said, you're not saving money on the gold. You're actually going to be paying an offset on that on the labor.
And with that in mind, considering the sentimental value of using your own gold, that should also be considered that because your gold is being refined and then it's being mixed with new alloy, it's not being reshaped. It's sort of your old gold, but it's sort of new gold too.
Absolutely. And we have to consider that, let's say, use the ice cube example again. You got a big ice cube, and then you're making something that's a little bigger. We got to add something to make it bigger.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
And usually custom pieces have to have more weight. They have to have more gold because if it's a piece that you've been wearing for 10 or 20, 30, 50, 60, 100 years, a lot of that gold has worn down.
Right, because we know that gold is brittle. Every time you hit gold, little tiny microscopic bit flakes off. That's why we reshank rings all the time. You know, if you love grandma's ring and you want to wear it, but the underside down here, the shank is really, really small, we reshank it. We add new gold. It's very, very common. But also consider when we make the spruce for your custom piece of jewelry, there has to be a little line that comes down and attaches to the ring, or I'm using that as an example because it's a little easier. So this has got to be gold, and then this has got to be gold. So there is some waste involved as well.
Well said, Rebecca. So when starting with a custom jewelry design, if someone comes to you for a custom piece, do you recommend that they start with the stone or the design first?
Honestly, whenever we're going into a custom jewelry piece, it doesn't really matter if you have a stone or if you have an idea. Both are great places to start. I have a lot of clients that bring me their grandmother's stones, their best friend's stones that they were given. People bring in pieces that have been passed down in generations that it's not their style, but the stone has a lot of sentimental value to them. I also have a lot of people come to me with, you know, I want this gigantic marquee and I want it to be the size of my hand. We can do that too.
That would be me.
So if you have an idea or you have a stone, both are a great place to start.
So Rebecca, if a customer comes to you, maybe online because they live far, far away, and they want to start a custom project with you from afar, how do they measure their ring size?
There's a couple crazy ways to do it, to be perfectly honest with you. One is I like to send my clients just in the mail a little ring sizer. I have a couple different versions. One's like a little tab that just slips on. You can adjust and see what size your ring is. One's in a sheet like this. I also have a PDF on my website that if you print it out at 100%, you can compare the rings that you already have to see what size your ring is.
If a customer already has a ring that fits, how do they know that it's a good fit? As in, how should the custom ring fit and how should they be able to measure that?
That's a really important question because different types of rings fit differently. So if you have a really, really thin band around the underside, you're going to want to have it fit a little tighter. So these really, really tiny rings that are super popular all over TikTok, Instagram, Etsy, you're going to have to go a size down. For instance, I wear a size 5.5 as my normal ring size. When I buy a really, really thin band ring, I usually go between a 5 and a 5.25. Now, that being said, if you have a really thick band, you're usually going to need to size up a little bit. And your jeweler, when you're working with them on this custom project, should be able to help steer you in that direction. Another thing to consider is wedding bands, specifically men who have, kind of bigger hands, or us ladies that do have big hands. When we get those thicker bands, we like to usually suggest a comfort fit band. Those bow out on the inside so that when you bend your hand like this, it doesn't pinch. When you get a comfort fit band, you usually want to do about a half a size bigger than you usually would. For instance, I don't wear my diamonds when I go do anything remotely close to active, like you shouldn't. But I always wear a size 6 comfort fit band because it gives me that extra space and it moves on and off. That's the big thing. Be sure to defer to your jeweler about your design and if they suggest you go up or down a little bit. Now, I have some clients that we measure their finger. They don't know if they're supposed to be a 10, a 10.5, if they like a 6 millimeter or an 8 millimeter. I don't know about you, but I would rather put it on my hand. So if you're working with an online custom jeweler like me, I like to send my customers a couple different rings for them to try on. So they're not very expensive, but it really allows you to see a 6 millimeter is more comfortable on me, a 4 millimeter is better, a 6.5 is better for me, and you can make the decision that way.
Are people really shopping for custom jewelry with online independent retailers like yourself? And if they are, how do they get that process started? Do they come to you with an idea, or do they reach out to you and say, hey, I want a custom piece, but I don't know what to do?
All of that happens. I have a lot of clients that reach out because they see our Instagram and Facebook Reels and TikTok. They send me a message, hey, I saw you do custom jewelry. They also jump on my website under the custom jewelry section and they fill out a contact form. I like to ask people when they get started, what are you looking for? And some people only have a budget. Some people have, I want it to be Celtic, full of emeralds, and I want to have unicorns in it. Awesome. You got a starting point. So every single person, when they come onto the journey of creating their own individual piece of jewelry, they start in different places. Now, I do know that there are quite a few custom jewelers out there in the intrawebs, but I've also received a lot of feedback that not everybody has the best follow-up. So, we're always happy to help you. One of my most recent custom wedding band pieces was for Black Diamond's gorgeous wedding band for her husband with rose gold accents. She said that she had reached out to 5 different online custom jewelers, and I was the only one that responded to her. So whenever you are working and trying to find someone online to work with you for doing custom jewelry, having that responsiveness is incredibly important. I personally like to make sure that when I do a custom piece, you know exactly what's going on. Is it in casting? Is it in polishing? Is it in finishing? Where are we? Communication is super important. And with the way the internet is these days, you should be able to communicate with your customer. And that's something that you should expect, especially if you're going to be investing in a piece of jewelry that's going to be on your hands for decades and passed down to your family. And that's something that's super cool about custom jewelry. When you make a quality piece, you get to carry it with you forever and pass it down to your children, grandchildren, whomever. Heirloom quality pieces are incredibly easy to make out of custom jewelry pieces because they already have a special part of you. your inspiration, your idea, your family stones. It's not really something hard to make at all.
So, Rebecca, just real quick, for a customer who's coming to you who wants custom jewelry but maybe doesn't have a super clear idea of what they want yet or how the process is going to go, what are some of the do's and don'ts of ordering custom jewelry?
The number one thing I suggest as soon as I talk to someone who wants a custom piece of jewelry but doesn't really know what they want, I hate to tell you, I send them to the internet to start sending me screenshots of a few different things. One, what do you love? Do you love this design? Let's say, I love how this band goes up the side and holds the diamond. Send me pictures of things that you hate. That's important. I hate how this diamond is set right here. It's like it's so chunky, and these are small things that are super important. Try to decide, do you want rose gold? Do you want white gold? Do you want platinum? Do you want yellow gold? Do you want that rich, rich, rich gold? Start thinking about these things. Do you want two-tone so you can wear it every day? Do you want platinum? Do you want iridium? And, when you start having the conversation and you start sending things to the person you're working with, they might actually be able to find a piece that checks all the boxes for you that is already made. There's many manufacturers out there that have beautiful vine designs with delicate melly and millgrain and all the beautiful things that the turnaround time might be super quick. So when you give the jeweler all of this information, they're able to formulate, either make something entirely on CAD, or I have this one vendor that can do this and get it to us in a week. And they try to piece together your specific puzzle to create a piece that is exactly yours. And you can love and customize any way you want.
So, Rebecca, if a customer is wanting to have a custom piece made and wants to consult with you at the Rutile, how do they get in contact with you?
Well, I would be absolutely honored to help you create a custom piece of jewelry, no matter where you are in the process. If you have an idea or a really cool rock you want to put onto a necklace or whatever, I'm super excited to help you. So you can get a hold of me a few different ways. We're on pretty much all of the social media channels. You can slip into my DMs there. You can also go to therutile.com and click on custom jewelry. If you go to any of those places, I'm offering for the jewels of the trade listeners here, if you sign up with me for a free 30-minute consultation, I'll give you $100 off of any design of $750 or more. And really, it's no pressure. And I don't want you to ever be embarrassed about your budget. We're real people here. So if even your budget's $300 to $500 to create something special, we can probably do it. All the way up to, man, I've sold some footballs. Big. So anywhere in between as well. We always want to make sure that you're super comfortable. Always are going to discuss price, always going to make sure you understand the process, the design. We don't start doing anything until you're happy with the design. So just go ahead, send me a message on any of the social media outlets out there. I'm sure Jordan will have them all. Slide into my DMs.
Links in the description, everybody.
And I would be absolutely honored to help you create something that you love more than anything.